I've got a very strong opinion, and I'm not afraid to show my opinion. Olympic gold medalists are getting paid now. What about Paralympic gold medalists? Don't get me wrong. I think things are going in the right direction. I think that things are not going in the right direction fast enough. I didn't really know like what our classification was. Like obviously, and I don't expect them to know like every single classification. It's just like they need a bigger insight, and obviously, like I think we as athletes can show them. I went with an open mind. Obviously, I'd done the Diamond League last year, so I did have kind of an insight into what it's like. But yeah, it's just like it was very, very, very stressful. Next year, I'm under 23, so like obviously, my only chance is making the senior teams now. There's a lot of achievements that I want to happen, but obviously, it's just about getting there and being in the right mental space.
So, Bebe, you have loved athletics from the get-go, basically. You've loved it from a very young age, and you do quite a few different events, so it's clear that you have a passion for it. So, what would you more, how has athletics shaped you as a person, would you say, over these few years that you've been competing?
I just feel like it's like got my confidence up. Like obviously, I never have been a shy person. I've always been quite outgoing, quite loud. But I feel like inside you always have that conscious like mind like you're always shy or. But I feel like I've gone out my shell is almost. Um. So yeah, I feel like athletics has just gotten me out of my shell. I feel a lot more confident with it in myself, and yeah, like that's basically
Because I know
how I feel.
I know the athletics community plays a massive part for you as well. Because I know you've made so many friends from your competitions and from your training. So how do they factor into everything for you? Like how important are the people that you train with to your success, would you say?
So obviously like I've recently moved clubs, so obviously I haven't made like too many friends, but I have made quite a lot of friends. But the people who I like compete with and like all the para athletes, they're like so close to me. So like obviously I'm in the futures program, and like Amy, Becca, Maddie, like they're all like very close friends with me, and like we all live across the country, so we can't see each other often. But when we do, like it generally so like heartwarming. And like if someone's events at 10 and someone's events at 3, we always like know we're gonna watch that. So it kind of it's so heartwarming, I think, all of us being together, and having that kind of friendship that you would not normally find in like normally, if that makes sense. Like
Mm.
you wouldn't find that normally. And obviously like I'm friends with Amy in Liverpool and Becca in Hertfordshire and me in Essex and Maddie in Birmingham. So like we're all from different parts and different backgrounds. And it's nice that we to come together and do the same thing, like same sport.
So could you tell us a bit about that then, your move from Harlow to Woodford Green? So could you tell us what sparked that decision and what that transition has been like for you?
So the transition was actually really hard for me, like surprisingly. Like obviously some people are like can easily move clubs and some people can like some people like take it like really badly. Like I it really hurt me moving club because obviously I'm from Harlow, and I moved from Harlow to Woodford. So it was quite hard for me, especially that I've been here for like 4 to 5 years. But I feel like the move was needed. I just wasn't progressing correctly in Harlow. I loved my coach. I loved everyone at Harlow. So it was never any conflict. It was just like I had to move on with my athletics career, and Woodford was the best place for me.
Yeah, because I remember you did that post a little while back when you said that you were moving clubs, and it was clear back then how big that move was for you because Harlow obviously meant a great deal to you. So you've been at Woodford for it's been a few months now, I think, isn't it, that you've been there
I think
roughly?
February.
Yeah, so a few months. So how has it been so far? Obviously, would you say you're still settling in, or are you settled in now by this point, would you say?
I think I'm settling in friends wise still. So like, I'm still like getting to grips with people's names. Like I'm really, really bad with names. So like, I get to grips with people's names. Like I'm getting to grips with like who I train with. Um, Sometimes I train in the morning, sometimes I train in the evenings. It like literally depends on like when I'm working. Um, but I just feel like within like training wise, like my season's been so good so far. I've got knocked off a second off my 200 time. I've knocked a lot off my 100 time, and it's quite hard to knock off seconds from my 100 time. But I feel like this move was so necessary in my athletics career. and I'm really settling in at the moment, and I feel like I've already settled in. So yeah, but it's just getting to grips with people's names. Really, I'm so bad with names.
You and me both. Then that makes me feel a bit better about it, saying that you're not great with it either. You were at this little thing called the London Diamond League. I don't know if many other people would have heard of that little competition you were at. You
Yeah,
know, just that small little thing. You were at that, and
just
then
in front of 60,000 people.
yeah, it's nothing major.
Yeah.
And then obviously you were at Birmingham the day after as well, doing another championship there. What was that weekend like for you? That must have been such a big weekend for you.
I'll be honest, it was very, very, very stressful.
Mm.
Because obviously the selection for the Paralympics was on the Monday, and obviously unfortunately I didn't get selected. Um, but it was like there was a lot of stress on my shoulders, but like I feel like I needed to experience that stress. And has been a big step in my athletics career, and had like made me see the insights of what being a professional athlete would be like. But yeah, I feel like the weekend was like absolutely amazing. Like I went with an open mind. Obviously, I'd done the Diamond League last year, so I did have kind of an insight into what it's like. But the crowd was even more like crazy this year. Like, there was a lot more people. It was probably around like 50,000 people when we started the race. But yeah, the race was amazing. I got a massive PB in my 100, so that was great. And then the Sunday was a bit more disappointing, because I didn't do as good in my 200, and it just wasn't. It's terrible conditions. But no, I'm happy with the weekend overall. But yeah, it's just like it was very, very, very stressful, and I don't like Birmingham track, so I've never run a good time on Birmingham track. So it's just like I suppose I did run a good time there, but it was like wind assisted, so it's like either windy, not windy, raining, not raining. But you can never get the best of both worlds.
It's the unpredictability of it all sometimes, isn't it? It can just be absolutely
Yep.
horrendous to work it out. Because out of interest as well, I know you met Bryden there when you were there, and I know you've met Reef, I think it was, at a previous competition as well. So it's Bryden and Reef you've met so far, is it?
So I think I met Reef at the champs. I
Yeah, I
could be.
think so.
I know I did meet Reef, but I can't remember where I met him. But yeah, Bryden. It was really good meeting him. Like, he texted me, and then we decided to meet, and we just had a like quick little. We had a quick little chat because obviously, like, I'd work after. I had work after the Diamond League.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you had work straight, what, the same day?
Yeah. So I wanted to work, but I had work at 6. So I finished my rate at 12, and then like and then obviously like I saw like Becca, I saw my friends who had come to watch, and then like had a chat with Bryden like for about 10-15 minutes, got a photo of him, and then quickly dashed off to work.
How? How did you how did you do that race and then go straight for what? So was it a case of basically finishing the competition and then heading straight up to where your work is?
No, so I finished. I finished my race was at like 1, I think. So
Okay.
my race was at 1. I left London at around about 4, and I only live like 20 minutes away from London. So
Okay, yeah, that's the yeah. Because to be fair, I keep forgetting that you're not that far away from the stadium
yeah,
with the bigger picture. Yeah, that is true. So obviously, looking at the Diamond League, and you were at the Youth Commonwealth Games last year as well, which was obviously another major thing for you. So, what would you say have been your proudest accomplishments so far?
I don't know. Like, obviously, like there's like a few like honourable mentions, like being flag bearer at the Commonwealth Youth Games. Like, that was a big one. Um, Winning a silver medal at the Commonwealth Youth Games. That was a big one. I know I've run out 3 Diamond Leagues before I turned before 18. So I suppose I don't know. I think there's not a specific one. I just think like all of them have been like amazing. Like, obviously I've travelled to so many places. I've travelled to Trinidad and Tobago. I travelled to South Africa. I have got something coming up that will be my biggest achievement of all time, but I'm not sure I can say anything yet.
So your lips are sealed for that one. You're not going to
My
give
lips
an
are sealed,
exclusive.
yeah.
Oh, damn it! I'm sure we'll find out at some point anyway. So it's no biggie. Um, so yeah, I mean, like I say, like you've accomplished so much in such a But I mean, obviously, like you're 18, aren't you? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're only 18 and you've accomplished so much already in such a short space of time, basically, which is obviously incredible in itself. But with any athlete, obviously, there's going to be ups and then there's going to be downs as well, which you're very open about whenever, something doesn't necessarily go the way you had hoped it to. So when you have those moments where something doesn't go to plan, how do you tend to overcome those hurdles? Like, do you have like a specific way of dealing with disappointment?
Well, I think it's good to talk to people about it. So like talk to people who's like not involved in athletics. Like I don't really talk to my granddad or my nan about it because they're quite involved within my athletics. So I normally like go to my boyfriend who like is not involved in athletics. He's like just goes over his head about athletics. But like I always like blurt out all my problems to him, and he always like understands, but he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the athletics side of it. It's like I'll give you an example. It's like obviously, like I said on like last week, I didn't get selected for the Paralympics, what I've been training for this year. And it was like that really hit me because like I'm ninth in the world. I should have been selected, but unfortunately I didn't. And that took a really big like hit on me. Um, but obviously I had a chat with him about it. And it really took it off my chest. So obviously like if there is any like athletes out there who have considered or who have like got a big upset like big setback or big upset or big injury, like just talk to someone who doesn't really know athletics, and then that will like get it off your chest. And then they won't really have an opinion in it, but it's just so you can get it off your chest and you can have a different opinion other than an athletics opinion.
Yeah, having someone there to listen really does make all the difference. Like I can totally relate to that. So yeah, obviously you said, about you not making the Paralympics, which I know you've had your heart set on for. Well, that is an ultimate goal of yours, essentially, isn't it, to make the Paralympics?
Yeah.
So you've got that there, obviously. Is there anything else that you're hoping to achieve within the next few years or even months?
I don't know. There's a lot of like tiny achievements. Obviously, like with para specifically, we don't have like under 23 worlds or under 20 worlds, and next year I'm under 23. So like obviously my only chance is making the senior teams now for para. So obviously like within the next 2 years I'm hoping to make the Europeans and hoping to make Worlds and hoping to make Paralympics. Obviously that's my ultimate goal. But obviously my tiny little personal goals is I want to reach 27 seconds. I want to get below 13:50 in my 100. There's a lot of achievements that I want to happen, but obviously it's just about getting there and being in the right mental space.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's more a case of focusing on the baby steps for you, I assume, to begin with, and then you can look to the bigger goals after that, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is my main and ultimate goal. Like getting the baby steps, getting the technique in, getting what I need in, and obviously like focusing on myself. And obviously like my coach is really really good, so I'm hoping me and him can get me there eventually.
So tell us a little bit about your coach then. So how long have you been working with him and what is your relationship like with him?
So I've been working with my coach since February. He's really 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 good coach. Like he's so understanding, and he puts so much effort into you. Um, and yeah, like obviously I've only been working since February, and he has got me. He has. I don't know if you've seen my improvements, but my improvements have been so dramatic. And obviously, I know I don't expect that um every season, but obviously I'm hoping he can get me there.
Well, with any luck, I mean, like I say, you've done little things like the Diamond League and stuff like that. So I'm sure that's a good sign of what's to come at least.
Yeah,
I'm sure. So obviously you've said yourself you are a para athlete, and you're very passionate about teaching others, what is involved with the para athletics community essentially. So what is it that ultimately inspires you to teach others things about the para athletics community? Because you've got things like the classifications and things like that that people might not necessarily be aware of beforehand. So yeah, what makes you want to help people to understand what it is the para-athletics community faces on a regular basis?
I think my biggest insight was the Commonwealth Youth Games, because like most of like the like Team England team, they didn't really understand or like know what like obviously they knew para sport like exists, but they didn't really know like what a classification was. Like obviously, and I don't expect them to know like every single classification, but I expect them to have an idea. But they were just completely like and utterly like naive about it. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know what you mean.
they
Yeah.
were, they were completely naive about it. And obviously, like me, Maddie, and Rosie and Vinny, we all did a PowerPoint um, showing like the how much para athletes get paid compared to able-bodied athletes, and um, like a universal relay we showed them, and they were like completely gobsmacked by a universal relay. Like, obviously, like universal relay is not really my most favorite thing in like para athletics, but they didn't know what it was, and like there's a lot of things we taught them, and then after that they were like so much better with it, and they was asking us loads of questions, and I feel like within the para sport, like within the youth talent program and within the senior talent program and all them programs involved in England athletics and British athletics, like even UK futures able-bodied, like there should be you should get para athletes in with a PowerPoint showing them what it's like to be a para athlete, and maybe even vice versa. They can do what it's like to be an able athlete because we don't know what it's like to be an able athlete. We don't know what it's like to do European under 18 worlds or European under 18s. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like they need a bigger insight, and obviously, like I think we as athletes can show them.
Because I was speaking to Ollie Parker the other day, who's another Neuff ambassador, because obviously he went to Trinidad and Tobago just like you did.
Yeah,
And he was singing your praises, BB. He was saying how he was learning things that he didn't know before. Because he mentioned himself that you'd done this PowerPoint where you were like telling people about like, like how much para athletes get paid and all that sort of stuff, which people like Ollie didn't realize beforehand. Like, I don't think there is a lot of awareness surrounding the issues around the para athletics community at times. So, for people like you to be, doing these things and raising the awareness, then, ultimately it is going to get more talked about. And then hopefully there will be solutions to things that are happening for para athletes like yourself, and then yeah, then there'll just be a larger conversation around it. But what's your opinion on that then? So do you think things are going in the right direction for para athletes at the moment, or what's your thoughts on that?
don't get me wrong. I think things are going in the right direction. I think that things are not going in the right direction fast enough. So
Okay,
obviously, like I've got a very strong opinion, and I'm not afraid to show my opinion. So
fine.
I think it is going in the right direction. Obviously, like Olympic gold medalists are getting paid now. What about Paralympic gold medalists? Like, are they getting paid? Like there's just like so much. Like, obviously, like I said, with like I think Diamond League like winners get paid £10,000. The race I did, like Sophie Hahn got paid like I think it was like 1,200.
Wow.
Like that's like £9,000 difference. Like that is like obviously we don't like most of us para athletes don't do it for the money. We normally have full-time jobs alongside it. So we train and have full-time jobs alongside it. Like but able athletes they don't normally do that if that professional. But obviously Sophie Hahn is the same as Usain Bolt. But like Usain Bolt used to get paid like millions. Sophie Hahn doesn't get paid millions. Like this is a problem, but like I feel like it is moving in the right direction, but very very slowly. And I think things need to happen before people start dropping.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, because things like the Paralympics only happen every 4 years, and for a lot of people, that is the only, like way that they get to see para athletics in a way. And, the fact that it doesn't get a lot of attention as is at the best of times, it is difficult to raise these things to the higher ups essentially. But like obviously, like I've said before, like you're so passionate about like making a difference and raising the awareness. So like hopefully that is gonna help as the months and years go on. So finally, then BB, I know I can't remember what event it was, but you told us, I think it was a few months ago, that you were invited to an event where you got to talk to kids about your experience. What event was that again?
The mini marathon
That's
in
the
Lee
one.
Valley.
That's the one. Yeah. So um obviously, like, you had loads of kids. Well, I'm assuming you had loads of kids coming up to you wanting to learn more about your experiences in the sport and all that sort of stuff. So with kids like that, like, when kids come up to you and they say to you they want to be the next big sprinter or they want to be the next big thrower, from your experiences, from what you've experienced personally, what are the main bits of advice you would give to these kids who are hoping to be the next big thing in athletics?
I don't know, like obviously when I was the kids were like so like they were all like coming up to me. I generally probably signed about like 200 autographs that night. Took like so many pictures. But yeah, I think the main advice that I gave to the kids were like just like make sure you're happy. Like make sure you're happy within like what you're doing. Because if you're not happy, then like you won't be enjoying it, and if you're not enjoying it, then you won't want to do it. So make sure you're very like happy and you're enjoying it. Keep yourself motivated. Like keep yourself like wanting to do it. Um, Train very hard because like you don't get anything from not training hard. Like obviously when I was with Harlow, I didn't train very hard. Now I'm training like 2 to 3 times a week, so I'm training quite hard. So train hard, and yeah, just enjoy yourself. Really, that's my two main pieces of advice. Enjoy yourself, keep yourself motivated, keep happy, and just train very hard.
Because I'm just remembering now, actually, because I remember a picture of you where you were signing an autograph for one of these kids, and the smile on your face, like, you could just see like how
Yeah.
happy it was making you that all these kids were coming up to you. And just, I didn't realize though that there were that many kids there. I didn't realize how big of
You
a
know
thing
what?
it was.
It's generally crazy because obviously I was like, so at the start I got put in this little room, and then like he announced on the speaker saying like, oh, like Commonwealth Youth like game silver medalist is in like blah blah room, and obviously she'll be signing autographs, and then you just got to like generally like a line of kids like wanting to get a photograph, wanting to get an autograph, and everything like that, and like this kid come up to me with a shoe, and I was like, what do you want me to do with the shoe? And then he was like, sign it, please. And then he was like, look, I've got like Usain Bolt and I've got blah, blah, blah on it and I've got blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you want me to sign it? And I looked at his mum. I was like, is that okay? And she was like, and so I signed it. And obviously, like, I'm on that shoe forever. Like, I've signed his shoe and I'm next to Usain Bolt and I'm next to Mo Farah and I'm next to Phoebe Gill. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, it was crazy and it was mind boggling, but
Yeah, but the fact that these kids basically put you on the same wavelength as Usain Bolt, I mean, Jesus, like, that you there's obviously something
yeah.
wrong with you to make these kids want you to sign that exact same shoe. That is crazy. But but yeah, no, BB, thank you so much for talking to me. It's been really good to hear your take on things and just to hear how your season's gone. And like you say, I know you're still settling in with Woodford Green, but hopefully you will find your feet firmly planted on the ground sooner rather than later. And yeah, hopefully things will just go up from here. So yeah, no, like I say, thank you so much for talking to me.
You're welcome. Thank you.